Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You're watching Kelsey's Way TV and I am Kel-Sei, and I'm back with another K-Talk video for you guys today. So this video is going to be about a few things, all of which I think relate very closely. So the big broad idea of this video is going to be about emotions. I'm going to pose a question to you, and then I'm also going to kind of catch you up as to how I got to this question. We're also going to talk about state of mind versus mentality. I already told y'all in other videos, we got to come back today, we got to talk about it. Today is the day, okay? And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which I already done forgot, this is why I take notes, is being logical versus being emotional, and how do we make those coexist, because I feel like we need both. You need to be both logical and you need to be both emotional. And we got some people that are extremists. They're either extremely logical or extremely emotional, and they don't believe that those things belong together. They don't believe that they can work in unison, you feel me? So let's talk about it. My question for you all is, when did being emotional or feeling emotions become dehumanized? And when I say that, I mean, when did it not become normal? When did it not become cool for us to feel and grow through emotions? And this is something that I've been hypothesizing about, something that I've been questioning for a while now, and more frequently in these last few weeks and days and months, because it's something that I see all the time. When we have a problem, when we are feeling anything less than pleasant, and even sometimes when we're feeling pleasant, we don't acknowledge it. It's tossed under the rug. It's you're gonna be all right. It's get your shit together, for lack of a better phrase. It's shake it off. We gotta keep moving and grooving. And while I am all here for pushing through, I firmly believe, I strongly believe that you cannot push through without feeling it first. It's all of these things that's used to numb the pain, used to forget the pain, erase the pain. You can't. That's just like your check engine light coming on and you putting some tape over top of it, and now you can't see it no more, so now your car is fixed. Your car is still broken, you just can't see it anymore. Your heart is still broken, you just can't see it anymore. You don't feel it at the moment because you never started the feeling process to begin with. And I have a huge issue with that. Like, that concept really bothers me. And me coming from an extremely emotional human being, I am still very emotional to this day. Like, I can get there with the emotions, but I'm not sensitive. So it takes a while before I get there, and I'm an extremist when it comes to certain things. So my emotions, if I'm angry, you're gonna know about it. If I'm sad, you're gonna know about it. If I'm happy, you're going to know about it, because I feel through them. I try my best not to ignore them. I try not to put it on the back burner. I try not to toss it to the side and hope somebody else is gonna pick it up and fix it for me, because that's not how it works. It's like, let's say, I'm trying to think of a good example that's not surface level but not too deep, because it's different for everybody. But let's just say that you're having a bad day, and instead of sitting there and instead of acknowledging, one, you know what, today ain't really all that that's cracked up to be, I'm really not feeling it, it's just one of them days type of day. Instead of saying, like, you know what, this really ain't that, I'm not too much here for this. What is going on? What is the problem today? That's, I think, the first step of feeling through your emotions. What's the problem? What's the issue? Dang, this is making me so happy. What is it? What is the what? And then the why. The what and the why are so important. And I feel like us as human beings of all races, nationalities, genders, colors, of everything, we forget that. Like, what is your why today? What is your what today? Everything else, the when, where, and how, will fall into place once we figure out those two. But more specifically, emotions, you can feel through them if you know why. And sometimes you don't even got the why yet. But if you ask yourself, you can piece around it and put it together. But we gotta ask ourselves first, why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? And after that, how do I get through it? And like I said, if you find that what and that why, that how gonna come along. Okay, I'm not having a good day today because I didn't get any sleep. Well, how do I fix this? Go to sleep. Take your butt to bed. And you try it again the next day. And if that how don't work, find you another how. I promise you they're gonna line up and you knock it off, because you know that what and that how. You know what caused this, what triggered this emotion, and now you know the why. Why am I feeling this way? That how, the where, and the when will follow. They will follow suit. They all belong in the package deal, but without these two, you'll never ever ever find it. You'll never ever ever feel it, and you will continue to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. I don't know about you, but my neck and my shoulders, I be tense, y'all. I be hunched over, and that stuff don't feel good. But when I sit up tall, when I'm able to articulate my feelings, when I'm able to feel my feelings, when I'm able to grow with my feelings, oh my God, it's not a better feeling in the world. And I hope that I am articulating this in the way that I intend to, and I'm getting this message across in the way that I intend to, because I still don't have an answer for why emotions are dehumanized. Why do we always have to be strong? Why do we always have to be okay? Why does every day always have to be a good day? And if it's not a good day, we ignore it. We push it to the side and we fake the funk. I'm tired of faking the funk with everybody. I'm tired of having to put on this facade that I'm always okay, I'm always perfect. I'm not always perfect. Everything ain't always peaches and cream around here. I can tell you that for sure. But if I learn to, one, communicate my feelings, and whether it's me communicating with this camera, me communicating with the mailman, with me communicating with a journal, if I can release it, if I can acknowledge it, I can be more mindful, I can be more present in the now, I can be more human. We're not robots. We're not meant to just take everything. We're not meant to serve face. Jeez, if you ever been around me, you know my face is stale. And part of it is a good thing, because sometimes I just really don't feel like cheesing in your face, and I really think it's weird. And another part of it is kind of a bad thing, because we are mirrors, and whatever I'm feeling on the inside, if it's showing on my face, it's gonna reflect on the outside, and I'm gonna get that same energy back. It's just gonna bounce off, and everybody gonna be looking at me stinking. I'm like, why you looking stank? You're gonna be like, why I'm looking stank? And I mean, that's just how it is. I'm learning to grow through it. I'm learning to feel. I'm learning to be in tune with my emotions, as well as being logical. Now, I'm gonna get to the logicalness later down the line, but next I want to talk about state of mind versus mentality. And I feel like once you've acknowledged your feelings and your emotions, and once you've learned to feel through it and grow through the process, and when I say feel through it, I don't mean take 6 months. I don't mean that. That's me personally, that's too long. But if it take you 6 months, you know, take your time, do what you gotta do. I mean, in the moment. If you are upset and angry and it's appropriate, feel through it. Ask yourself what's going on. Ask yourself why, and then how, when, and where is gonna follow suit. Go through it. Stop trying to jump over it, go under it, go around it, because it's still gonna be there. It's still this cloud that you hanging on and you carrying around, and I promise you, it is noticeable. It doesn't go unnoticed, whether I ask you are you okay or not, whether I question it or not. I see it. They see it. The random person on the street sees it, and I want to see your light. I want that to illumify the room, if that's a word. I don't even know, but I'm not adding it out. We're gonna keep it that way. I want you to illuminate. I want you to grow and just be the light that you're destined to be, and there's no way that you can do that without feeling through your emotions. So going on to state of mind versus mentality, once you learn how to feel, you can learn how to distinguish between the two. A state of mind is a temporary moment in time. That's it. It's quick. Sometimes temporary may be a day, sometimes temporary may be a week, but temporary shouldn't be a month, 6 months, a year, 10 years, a decade, a lifetime. that's not a state of mind. That's a mentality. A mentality is the characteristics of your being. A mentality is the characteristics of your personality. A mentality is, in a nutshell, you. Or do you have the angry mentality? You have a happy mentality? Are you a positive mentality? That's all dependent on you. But if you don't know the difference between the two, the state of mind can quickly become this mentality. Without feeling through your emotions, that's how state of mind becomes a mentality. You're gonna be angry one day, you're gonna be sad one day, you're gonna be happy the next day, and that's all cool. Everything is continuously growing, maturing, changing. I'm not saying that you're supposed to be happy every day 24/7. That's weird. While I desire to be happy and living my best life every day is not my best life, and I think that's normal. As most days are wonderful and magnificent. Most days I ain't really got too much of a problem, but there are some days where I'm just like, I'm really not here for this, and that's okay. But that's a state of mind. That's some days, not all days. That's sometimes, not always. And that's where we get confused, and that leads me back to the first question of, when did feeling emotions become dehumanized? Why isn't it normal to grow and go through things? So that's kind of what I wanted to hit about state of mind and mentality. Just making sure that you're knowing the difference between the two. Making sure that you're not letting something temporary become permanent or long-term, because it's not worth it. It's not worth having those weights on your shoulders, just being shackled down to something that was only meant to last a little time, not a lifetime. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, just because I do kind of want to wrap this video up. How many minutes am I at? I'm at 12 minutes. Y'all be sticking around for 20-minute videos, so it just might be one of them. I want to talk about logic versus emotion, rationality versus irrationality, and where the two should meet. In my opinion, this ain't facts. It's just what I believe and what I've kind of been pondering about pretty much all my life, because I'm a wanderer. Wonder about everything, which is why I have this YouTube channel, so we can talk about it. But yes, the logic versus emotions. I feel like there's two types of people in this world. No, let me rephrase. I feel like there's three types of people in this world. There's the logical person, the emotional person, and both. This person is who I desire to be. And sometimes I feel like I switch between the two. I think as I've grown up, I have become very, very, very logical. I am very meticulous with the words that I speak. I am very meticulous in the moves that I make. And I think things through. I don't, as free-spirited as I am and as free-spirited as I may seem, I don't always move just because I can. I used to, but I don't always move just because I can. Now, I'm not a planner nonetheless, but I think things through. I generally like to see the bigger picture before I make a move or before I make a decision, because I'm really not too much here for digging myself out of holes. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still young, I'm still growing, and I still be putting myself in a lot of situations that I probably shouldn't be in, but that's not what we're talking about today. And with that being said, you have your logical, your emotional, and the both. And I feel like the logical person, if it don't make sense, they ain't going for it. And not everything makes sense. The emotional person speaks with their feelings. And I feel like that you should feel from your heart and speak from your brain. And a lot of times I think we have that really, really, really misconstrued. Think that we try to feel from our head, and emotions don't always make sense. Emotions don't always come at a time where we expect it. Emotions, to me, aren't something that can be, how do I word this? They aren't predictable. You can't plan it. You can't avoid them. So why not face them? And I feel like when we're trying to go through emotions, we're trying to make sense of it, and it's not always made to make sense. It's not always about being rational. Emotions are very irrational, and that is a-okay in my part, as long as you acknowledge them and you feel them and you go through them and stop trying to be so army strong, for lack of a better word. Everybody always trying to be so strong and so brave, and to be honest, I think that we're tougher than we could ever imagine mentally, but we're not as Billy Badass as we display physically. And if that makes any sense, I'll try to best explain it. It's like we put on this front and this facade to the whole world. You can't mess with me, I'm untouchable. And we really are touchable. You can press my buttons, I promise you. Sometimes it takes a great deal of effort for you to press my buttons, but I'm not untouchable, I'm not unpressable. But I'm mentally a lot tougher than I give myself credit for. I can deal with way more than I could ever imagine, and I'll never be able to fully grasp just how strong I am mentally. But I don't always have to put off that facade physically, because a lot of the times I already solved issues well before I ever even realized it. And that's because that Billy Badass mentality just kind of makes you a little bit delusional. It's like you so stuck on trying to look and appear strong, you don't even realize just how strong you are. You don't realize just how much you have overcome situations, just how much more you can overcome if you stop trying to look so strong and just be strong. There's a difference between being about it and talking about it, and we do a whole lot of this and less of this. I want to walk the walk, I don't want to talk the talk, because I can talk all day. As you can see, this video about 17 minutes long now. But back to the logic and the emotional, it's like a lot of us around here just super irrational. Everything that we speak is just based off of how we feel, and it's a weird combination, because we can articulate with words all this feeling, and we can use all the adjectives and all of the other stuff in literature that I'm not about to mess up to describe the feeling, yet when it's time to internalize it, we have no clue what's going on. And I definitely am a firm believer of speaking from the brain, this frontal lobe, this frontal cortex. So where I would like for the words that spew out of my mouth to come from, it's not always that process and feeling from the heart, because I don't know, we're gonna redo that part. We're gonna redo that part. They don't even sound right. But I guess what I'm trying to say with being logical versus being emotional, somebody who thinks with logic blocks, and logic only blocks all areas of emotion. It don't matter how they feel, it's about what they think. And you can make sense of the things that you think, but you can't always make sense of the things that you feel, and that is a battle between it. If it don't make sense, it's like it doesn't matter. And then you have your emotional person, where they're not always seeing the whole picture. They're not always getting insight from here, but they're spewing words based off of how they feel. And while sometimes it is okay to be passionate, sometimes it's okay to be intense, but when are you going to be rational? When are you going to make sense of the words that you're speaking? And that's where I feel like they both come together. You can't have one without the other. You can't be walking around here being a robot, putting on this facade that you're something that you're not, that you are more than what you have to offer, because you're trying to make sense of the world. But you also can't be walking around here just talking and outside of your neck, for lack of a better phrase. But if you can find that in between passion and rationality, that's the perfect person, that's the perfect combination, if that even makes sense. And it's like, all of this is something that I have questions about. All of this is something that is ever changing, my thoughts on them are ever changing, but I think it's something worth talking about, something worth opening a dialogue about, because we ignore it. We're so good at ignoring everything. And that's what I mean by we are way more mentally tough than we ever thought about, but we're not as Billy Badass as we seem to be, because our ignore game, curve game is strong. But if you was as bad and as physically strong as you say you were, you could look your emotions in the face and say, I'm gonna feel you today, I'm gonna grow through you today, I'm gonna get through this today, versus ducking and dodging, bobbing and weaving like we usually do. And I guess that was the biggest take-home message for this video. And I know it's all over the place, because to be honest, I'm all over the place, and I'm like keep switching between my logical brain trying to make it make sense and my emotional brain trying to feel whatever it is that I'm feeling at the moment. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, just because I know that there's so many people out there like me that just wonders, like, is it normal for me to feel the way I feel, for me to acknowledge and want to grow through my emotions, or should I be just like everybody else and say, you know, if it ain't happy, it ain't nothing, because I don't feel it, I'm numb to it. I don't want to be numb to the world. I don't want to fake the funk with the world. I don't want nobody to fake the funk with me. And I feel like we don't create a space for that in this world. We don't create an avenue for us to be human anymore. We're all robots. We're all walking around here being what we think everybody wants us to be, and not being us and being true to ourselves. And the only way to be true to yourself is to first acknowledge everything about you, everything about your being, to accept it and to love it, and to go through it and learn through it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for tuning in to my K-Talk. Y'all, I got so much more to talk about. I have so many questions about life. So just comment down below what you want me to talk about. I'm gonna try to crank out videos more often. Again, it's more of a video diary, if you will. This is like my diary entry of the month, the week, I don't really know the day. But it's in my thoughts, and I want to share them with you. I want you guys to share your thoughts with me, and I want you to ask me questions, pick my brain. This is like my favorite pastime, just talking and kind of getting my thoughts out there in this world. So I will see you in the next video. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you later. Bye. This outro is I don't know, I'm getting off of here.